I'm Lily, and today, hello class, I'm Lily, and today Roberto, Brianda, and I are going to present planning a lesson. We are going to start to how to start a language lesson. First, we have a purpose of the lesson plan, the background. What is the background? It's what do you need to know or consider to creating a lesson plan, and also know your students' content and resources. We have the components. What are the decisions plans of a lesson plan? The objective, the topic or subject, materials, procedure, evaluation, and assignments. Also, we have objectives that we have, writing clear objectives, and know your students, of course. The assessment is how do you assess your students on the lesson objective. And the last one, the reflection, is how do you know if your lesson plan was good? And how do you make plans to improve your teaching? So now we are going to continue with know your content. In know your content, we have the abilities, the culture, the education level, the home and the background, and the interculture. Okay, so now we have to know the interests of our students and know what do they like to do occasionally or what do they do every day. Okay, so those are keys for our lesson plans. We can continue, Roberto. And now we have is a must here to know our content. The classroom's inspiration starts here. Why? And wait a moment, please. Okay, to know your content means that we have to have a curriculum, a textbook, a grammar, vocabulary, subject material, writing conventions, and reading strategies. So now we can continue with the elements of a lesson plan. The elements of a lesson plan, here we have a picture. It says that we have objectives and goals, materials and equipment, guided practice, the closure, the independent practice, anticipatory set, during constructions, and assessments and follow-up. Okay, an element of the lesson plan is the objectives and the goals. So we can continue with the other slide, Roberto. Uh, First, we have general information on the lesson plan. That is the day. When is going to be your class? The class is going to be in a classroom or is going to be outside the certain level. That it means the English level that has started. For example, if it's A1, B1, B2, or C1, C2. The unit title and also the name of the lesson. The duration is according of the school. If it's a school, probably it's going to be of about 1 hour or four. Okay. And the objectives and goals. Okay. Now we have to determine what do you want your students to be able to know and do by the end of your lesson and make it measurable and specific. We have some keys of the lesson objectives that it's usually called by SMART. S of specific, well-defined to students, observable teachers who, when, when, and where, and why. And the lesson plan is going to be achievable. Students are academically ready for the objective, measurable because can be evaluated, and objective is either reached or not. Relevant. The lesson plan has to be relevant because we have to prepare the students for standardizing testing and relates to larger ideas. Also, we build our prayer language. So this is the smart science. Now we are going to continue with the materials that we need for our lessons. Usually the teacher has their marker, the board, but students also need material for these lessons. For example, colors, glue, scissors, and you have to make sure you anticipate what materials you and your students will need. Make sure to organize and prepare all of these materials before class. And now we have some attendance strategies. The first one is that I can you continue, Roberto, with the other slide? That the student sign in at the door. If you have attendance lists, you can have it in your classrooms, and the student is going to sign their names if they are there. And if there are kids, they can put a sign or write if they know how to write. That is a strategy for attendance. The other one is going to be to number the seats of your students. Can we continue, please? Thank you. Yes, to number the seats of your students, we have, for example, 20 students. So we have 26, and we have to number every seat. And if there is not a student, so that means that they're not there. The other one strategy is to do little pictures of your students and put it on the board maybe or in a wall, and one is going to be absent and the other one is going to be in here, and if the student is in the restroom on maybe in other situation, or if they need to go to the nurse, you can put that picture of your student, and your student is going to be responsibility to have the those attendance, okay? And the other picture is where is, for example, where is Anna? And Anna is in class. So Anna is going to be responsible to put that in class or in the bathroom of absent. Okay? So that are our strategies.
Okay, so now we have dividing the class in groups. First, we have the heterogeneous group, and is when a diverse group of students is put in the same cognitive learning group. This mix of groups may consist of students of varying ages, educational levels, interests, special needs, etc. The students are of approximately the same age, but functioning at different academic levels. This method of heterogeneous grouping allows students to learn from each other's differences, and actively interact with diverse individuals while at the same time sharing their unique abilities and interests. Then we have the homogeneous grouping. In this distribution, the students who function at the similar academic and social level, for example, the children with trouble understanding or with special needs are placed in one group, while the gifted and talented students are placed in another. Homogeneous grouping helps all students in the classroom stay on the same page as their other classmates. Um, Next one. There are four types of grouping. The first one is base group, and this one, the teacher groups the students for the semester or the whole school year. Then we have the formal group. During this formal group is just for an hour or probably a week. In this group, usually the teacher just gives a homework activity like a presentation that is going to be done by the whole group, or probably just a class activity that is going to take the whole class. Then we have the informal group that is takes around 1 minute or probably a session. In this informal group, usually the teacher is just going to tell the students to group up and talk about the class topic, or talk about the class activity. Then we have the assembly group. In the assembly group, is just for the students usually to group up and talk about topics the teacher is talking about. And then working as a team and common community in the classroom improves students' abilities to, so the students can resolve problems by their own or together. Then the students respect opinions and interests other than their own, and They adapt their own goals and interests to those of the rest of their group. Next one. Okay, now we have class organization. In a classroom, a teacher's goal should be to create an environment that fosters learning. Therefore, the teacher has to organize the classroom in order to use the space efficiently and to minimize distractions. Usually, there are five simple suggestions so the teacher could accomplish this suggestion. Um, the first one is for the teacher to use a system to organize, um, to do an organization that is consistent with the instructional goals and activities that she's going to be doing. Then, to keep high traffic spaces clear, like in between the students' desks. Then, make sure that the teacher can easily see the student. Then we have to frequently use materials and resources in an easily accessible place so the teacher, when she needs something, can easily get a hang of it. Then we have ensuring the students can view instructional presentations, like when the teacher is presenting the homework or the lesson plan she's going to give, the students could be more, have a more visible seating assignment. And yeah, the next one is going to be presenting.
So now we have here in another part of plan and lesson plan. There's also some relevance related to how well is conditioned physical classroom. So now, talking about this, there's 2 points that I want to talk about. So the first one is physical environment that can be related to both students to achievement and student behavior. So I will maintain and safe physical environment of high quality. This can impose some positive attitudes and motivations for students. So this is also related to students' ability to learn academic achievements and some pro-social behaviors, right? And the next part is the decent and safe and secure facilities are essential to successful educational programs. So yeah, having in the students for them having a appropriate heating and cooling, having these facilities like access to clean water and the absence of overcrowding. You know, when the students try to walk and they are not able because the spaces are too little, and sometimes students don't feel comfortable at all having their classmates. Being too much, being too many sorry in the class, so they don't feel confident or that kind of freedom of being in a class because they cannot simply move in the class. So this is not only for conducive to instruction and learning, so this is also essential for the student and the staff for well things of well-being and over health. Now, this is an example. You have here an image of a well-conditioned class. This also, a well-conditioned class brings to a well-learning environment. Okay. Now, the next thing we have is the class stages. Now, as you can see, class is, the lesson plan is kind of related with this. So the lesson plan is just an evidence to make teachers that they think for the classes. So is kind of similar. So some parts of the class starts with engage. So this is a part where the learning concept is introduced. The teacher comes with a common topic, a daily topic, something pretty easy that the students can understand. Sorry. So the next part, explore. In this part, students explore the new concepts through learning experiences. This part is kind of students can share what they thoughts or the experiences according to the topic. So this also makes students to warm up to start talking a little bit. If that's the case, that a teacher pretends to teach them to improve their speaking. The next part, explain. The teacher helps students to understand the concept. In this part, teacher gives gives more information about the topic they saw. They kind of explain rules, what you can do, what you cannot do in this kind of topics, what you can structure in sentences in terms of grammar. And the next part is to elaborate. In this part, students apply what they've learned. We can in this part, students can apply what they learned in the explanation before with the teacher. In this part, this also applies for activities such as reading, writing sentences, or even speaking, making some conversations where we or the students apply what they learn. And the next part is evaluate, that the teacher and the students review and evaluate and assess their learning. In this part is the teacher gives a little review. There's not much to say about another activity. No, they just give a little. They repeat a little bit what they saw, and so the teacher tries to make it clear to the students that they saw is well understand. So there's nothing more to take after the class. Obviously, in the next class, it's common to make a little review of what they saw in the last class. Okay, so this is all. Here are the references, and hope you enjoyed, and hope you like the presentation, and I hope anything else. Thank you for your attention, guys.